you don't know if it's a good deal, if it's a bad deal. It really depends on what your needs are. You also have to know seasonality, both in air freight and ocean freight. On the air side, just listen to the news. If you hear something like Apple is coming out with a new product, Samsung's coming out with a new cell phone, something like that, and you know you're pulling product out of Taiwan, out of China, out of Japan, and your freight forwarder is giving you rock bottom air freight rates, you're heading for trouble. Okay? If you know you're coming right out of Chinese New Year, right? Is everybody aware of the Chinese New Year effect and what happens? Coming out of Chinese New Year, or maybe just a couple days going before Chinese New Year, know that you could be running into some trouble because of repositioning freighters, air freighters, and ocean liners. Okay? All this plays into an effect. Okay? I've done a lot of talking there. Any comments about what I've said? Have you experienced it? Anything like that? I know you have, Jackie. All right? Again, and I made it very clear in the beginning, I'm not promoting my company. I'm talking about relationships with whoever your partner is. All right? And I also like to throw out, treat your freight forwarder and your customs broker like your accountant and your lawyers. All right? When you go see your accountant, you don't hold information back from them. Don't hold information back from your customs broker. Don't hold information back from your forwarder. All right? Because they're there to help you. But if you start the relationship in an adversarial relationship to start with, that's what you're going to get. Okay? And in the end, and we're going to see when we talk about INCOterms, that you can save $25 or you could save $50, but it's going to get you on the back end. So understand that. That's if we don't come out of this class with anything but that, know that there's stuff on the back end that can get you. All right? And today, I'm going to talk to you not as somebody from a freight forwarder, but more as, I don't know, from the university trying to teach you about those things. So please don't go out and say, you know, Speed's doing this or, you know, Mike Diotti's doing that. It's not. I'm trying to tell you what's out there in the industry. All right? What's the number one how do I want to say this? Well, I'll hold that thought. I've got too much going on in my mind here. The first thing I want to start out with is, this isn't even my INCOterm presentation, but as I was going through this last night, excuse me, I wanted to start out with this. And I want to talk just about supply chain management to start. And supply chain management in any company encompasses a lot of different people, a lot of different departments, and a lot of different responsibilities. All right? And everybody plays a role in your supply chain management. And as you move from domestic shipping to international shipping, when you move from domestic sourcing to international sourcing, this plays a bigger part, okay? And some things that I want to, point out. When we talk about packaging, is that really important? Should that really even be considered part of the supply chain? Well, maybe if you're shipping from Buffalo to Rochester, or you're just throwing your freight on a truck, and if something happens, your supply cost isn't that much to get it back and forth or reworked. But when you're talking about shipping from Brazil to Buffalo or vice versa, and your product is damaged, think about the lead time, think about all the expense that you've paid, think about you've paid tariffs and duties that yes, you could get it back, but that's even more money that it's going to cost you to do drawbacks, okay? So now all of a sudden, when you're talking about international shipping, the packaging department or your shipping department now becomes a pretty big player in your supply chain. One of the things, and I'm sure everybody has heard, get all my books out. I'm sure everybody's heard that there's new INCOterms. Well, there were new INCOterms because of all the new government regulations and all the new security levels that are being put into place. Okay? So now all of a sudden, your compliance department and your security department now become a bigger player in the international realm. So I just wanted to throw this up for just for you to start thinking about how everybody now plays a bigger role as you go internationally. Questions on that? Thoughts? Okay. I'd like to throw this slide up. 96% of the world's population and 2/3 of the purchasing power is outside of the U.S. 1 in 3 small U.S. businesses avoid exporting for fear of the international unknown. I threw that up there because I'd like to turn that around a little bit and say that most small U.S. businesses today don't dictate their own terms because of the fear of the international unknown. They just don't know. Either they're not experienced, they don't have the people in-house to handle the things that they need to. They're hearing other things from other companies, from their vendors, okay? And they just don't know. All right? Let's talk just a little bit about how we got here. And I'll talk about why companies are in that position. Well, before we do that, let me ask you some questions. Jackie, do you feel that this applies to your company? Okay. How about International Fiber? You guys have a good feel for dealing internationally? No fear? Okay, good. Michelle?
We always have fear, That's always going to be in the back of your mind that there's going to be an I not dotted or a T not crossed or something.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as international shipments, we're growing.
Okay.
We've got, in December, we've got 80 containers going to Africa. So
Okay.
we are expanding.
Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yes, we do.
Good, good. Carol, Michael?
I don't think Cameron has any fear of international
Good.
They've got offices all over the world, so.
Okay. And see, that's, and you see right here in this, in our own class here, you know, we have different levels of what happens, okay? And I think, you know, I don't know how long have you been in Cameron? I mean, have you seen it progress? I mean,